Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Welcome to the fall. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action at the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, along with the altcoin market, as we get ready for the United States stock market to open up in about a half an hour from right now. Take a look over there at the US dollar currency index, or the DXY, and precious metals like gold and silver. Lastly, we'll wrap it up with any type of financial news or crypto news that's going on out there in the universe, as we enjoy a nice, wonderful Wednesday together. And then we'll hang out in the chat together. On Wednesdays, we keep it light, tight, and bright. We try to have ourselves a good time. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday,
All right, let us get it go. Now we get down to business, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you all are having a wonderful week. We've got some green price action over here in the cryptocurrency market. Stock market looks like it's going to open down a little bit. You got the NASDAQ down about 100 points. You get the Russell down 3 points, the Dow down 100, and the S&P down 25. We got a lot going on out here in crypto. Crypto's having a decent green day today, but of course, blockchain backer, that sidelined pleb just coping. I'm just kidding. We're going to take a look at a lot of stuff going on over here, right? So obviously last week, September 24th, made the announcement. I made a defensive play and took 1/3 of my portfolio off the table. Feels good, man. I've been trying to present a lot of stuff from the other side with things that we're seeing in the market, and today's going to be no different. We're going to run through a lot of different things here in Markets in the Morning and take a look at it from an alternative perspective of what maybe the mainstream narrative is of up only. Of course, you know that everybody is trying to characterize this as calling the top. And I do want to make sure it's not calling the top, but there's signs of what tops do look like. And so it's really important to me on my YouTube channel and to make sure I present these signs to you and not ignore them. When you go through markets, you try to find confluence, right? You try to find confluence factors to say, hey, here's all the thousands of reasons I can be a bull, even when everybody's like really pessimistic, right? Like when we're at the lows and everybody's real toxic and depressive and everything like that. And you say, well, look, here's this, and why we can go up. Then you get a little bit higher, right? And then you start saying, okay, well, a lot of these things have played out. Then you start getting a mixed picture, and then things are looking like this. And it's like, well, half of them are good, half of them are not so great. And then more of them start to pile to the other side. And so when more of them start to pile to the other side, then it's like, okay, well, we got to start presenting it from that angle now too, to make sure we showcase that. Now, of course, the thing that we're all waiting for in the crypto market is to see this Russell breakout. There's a historical relationship between the two. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're waiting for. If this thing happens, it's probably going to negate a lot of the things that are happening on the chart. This is the thing that holds me back from being like full-blown bear. I think if I almost think you could, like, it'd be a lot of social risk to go full-blown bear, but you almost could. But the big gamble is saying that this won't break out, because if this does break out, crypto's going to go with it like it historically does, I would assume. The hard thing about, of course, going full-blown bear is this, right? Like, where have you seen the top of a market come in where you haven't seen the Bitcoin dominance completely collapse on itself? In addition, all the indicators on it are acting like something that's going to fall, right? We've already got all these crosses. We've got all these things happening, right? And so we look at these and we say, okay, well, these are really positive. We know that these are really good. And okay, good. We can all be bullish and we can be really excited. But then, we head over to things like Bitcoin and we say, okay, well, we got it over here on Bitcoin. Go to crypto Twitter, and they're going to say, well, those ones don't matter, right? Those ones don't matter. Yes, the Bitcoin dominance ones definitely. Yes, awesome, breaking down. We're super bullish. No, that one doesn't matter, right? So I got to present both sides, and I'm going to show some similarities in today's markets in the morning to what Q4 of 2021 was like, right? I think it's appropriate. Today is the start of Q1 of 2025. The market has totally built this narrative that Q4 2025 is going to be roaringly epic, right? So should we take a look at what Q4 of 2021 looked like? I think that would be a fair thing to do, right? And I do want to make sure, again, we set this pretense here that I'm not calling for anything. And people always want to label it because it threatens them, right? But what I'm doing is presenting data and showing you what things actually looked like. The narrative is Q4 of 2025 is going to be roaringly epic and we're all going to, 30x our bags. But right, we do know what Q4 of 2021 looked like, right? So here is the start of Q1. We make our way up in here. And then by the end of Q1, right, we're right here, right? So that's Q1, right? That's Q4 of 2021, right? There's one little push here for the top, and then it rolls back, and then we essentially close like that, right? Let's go back and look at it. What day is this? October 1st. So there's October 1st, right? Where is December 31st? Right. So we closed where we started, right? And Bitcoin runs from what? It runs from 46,000 to 68,000, back to 46,000, and that's how the quarter ends. And of course, we start the 2022 bear market in that quarter, right? It starts here on November 9th. That's where we end up starting. So, the narrative of Q4, what do we remember from this? We remember that the real big bull run came practically a year prior, right? It started in late 2020, early 2021. We go through the really big bull run in here, big sell-off that happens in here, ABC, and then we push on one more time higher. But the market was real quiet here, right? Like altcoins, do you remember what happened with altcoins during that time? Is it this chart? Here we go. Not this chart. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to throw them on individually. Let's remember Litecoin, right? This is Q4, right? So the big rally happens here in the first half of the year, right? And then we go back in for a retrace for Litecoin, right? ABC. Let's add more on here. All right, big names. Doge, right? So this is the thing that we talked about and that was hard about Q4 in 2021 was that there was no raging alt season that ended up coming. And that was real hard to process and understand how something like that could happen. But this was the picture for 90% of the market. 90% of the market comes back, and Q4 is really nothing more than still just continuing this retrace that happens in here after we've roared and got real exciting back in November, December, January, February, March, and April of the year, right? Big sell-off. Most of the market comes back in here. And I did a presentation on this in Australia talking about this. How 90% of the cryptocurrency market did not set new all-time highs during this period or did not take out the previous highs that happened back in here. You could see Dogecoin did not, right? Dogecoin was like the coin of 2021. XRP did not. You have occasional ones in there though, right? Like the main stories of things that were capable of setting those new highs were Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, at the time FTT token, right? FTX, AVAX, but the majority did not, right? But in this one also, this is one where HBAR does set a new all-time high. in this environment right in here, but then pulls back. And that's what you've got right over in here, right? So what's fascinating about this is to go back and think of it in that mindset. This is what Q4 was, right? Q4 was just kind of going up and setting a new high, and then Bitcoin pulling back. Altcoins just kind of stayed in these retracements that happened in here for 90% of the market, but a couple of them went higher. What do we have? Boy, I'm getting a Jerome Powell over here. Excuse me. What do we have now? We have a couple of coins that are up higher, but most things are in retracements, right? If we come back to where we are currently right now, most of the market has been in a retracement in here. But so I want to paint that picture also from this light right in here to give an understanding of what Q4 was like and what we look like right now. So this is Hedera, and Hedera is one of the coins that is actually able to set a brand new all-time high over here when we're in late September, early October. But that was really all it had, and then it ended up rolling over. But what we know is that the bull run for it started post-election, like we see with every single bull run. We now have had 4 of these happen, right? 2013, 2017, 2021, 2025. All of these come after those election spikes that happen. We go through the election, then the market ends up spiking. And so if you were to look at it through that lens of how much time has elapsed for Hedera post-election spike of where you are right now, it implies you're like this far into the distance of where the market is, right? So when you look at it through that light of what Q4 is like, and these things that we've talked about with these bearish divergences in here, how do you not know when... Let's take all this back off now. How do you not know that we aren't acting exactly like Q4 of 2021? You know what I mean? Like, is it actually doing the same thing? Right? Everybody, of course, like that can't be the narrative. The narrative has to be, we don't want to look at that one. We going to look at that one, right? But our similarities of when it comes to our technical indicators and things like this, they point more towards that. And then the market behavior and the market dynamic, where there's only a couple. And we've been really lucky because XRP was one of those ones to be like this so far, right? Now, the thing is, it's not completely ruled out that it's not going to do something. If the Russell busts out of here, it's all great. And the technical indicators on total 2, there's still like a hope and a prayer, but it's flashing, right? And to kind of think about that, every time these things happen, what ends up happening to the market, right? You end up getting these liquidations to happen in here. And right now, like the hope and the prayer for the bulls is to say it's going to save itself, right? An example of it being like this. It's just going to dip, and then it's just going to rip. It's going to wrong foot everybody. It's just going to be one of these things all over again, right? I'm not ruling it out that it can't be, right? That this whole thing is just that. And then we're going to rip. We're going to go euphoric. We're going to have, blockchain backer, sideline pleb. We're breaking out. I'll take it all day. That's still in the cards. That's totally still a possibility. But how do you definitively say it's 100% going to happen, right? That's the hard part right in here. 2022 was a really crappy year. I think we all know that. It sucked horribly. And I know even me, like totally getting wrong-footed on thinking that there would be some majestic, huge alt season that would come being produced during that environment in there. And it didn't, and then we had to go through all that trash, and it was just a long ride, and having to double down in the bear and buy more and more and more. And then now here we are, we get back to the highs, right? And so finally can take some profits, right? Taking a third off the table. But I don't think, as a chartist and as somebody who tries to build my reputation on presenting you all the data and being honest with the data, I don't think I could come on here and not show it to you. I think I have to show it to you. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen here. You know, the thing I have to do is try to present you both sides and say, this is typically pretty bad. This is typically pretty bad. However, we can find one spot in time where we did something remotely similar, and then the market ripped out, and it created euphoria. And so you ask yourself, well, are we in a condition where if we did rip out here, would it create euphoria? And yeah, it definitely would create euphoria because we're busting through highs, and probably the Russell would be busting through at the exact same time, and it would be really exciting and super euphoric and rock and roll. Let me pull another chart up here really quick. We'll get off this one. We'll go to Binance. Right, this is one that I look at it and it just doesn't flash anything bearish to me, right? And I've been saying that for a long time. Even when we were in the Wyckoff accumulation spring phase, when everybody was saying this was the next FTX token, I didn't believe it. And unfortunately, I don't own any of it. And I never have. But show you this, right? This is from my newsletter. Okay. In 2017, right? And so that's what this has been drawn from, right? The parallels of these, of course, is to the 2017 bull run of Bitcoin. I'm not going to go into all the details of it for those who were here during the entire bear market. We've drawn all of these. There's your Wyckoff, right? There's your Wyckoff right in here. Here's your 2 attempts to get through the high. Here's your 2 attempts to get through the high. Here we are now, right? Now we're back at this extension, right? So when we went, the next leg up here in the market that happened here in 2017, this was the parabolic leg. So this is actually alt season number 1 happening here in the cryptocurrency market during this time period right here. You are entering into a phase that would look like it would be the euphoric, parabolic, exciting time for BNB, which likely wouldn't happen in an isolated chamber, which would likely happen during a period where the rest of the cryptocurrency market is going at the same time. So it's not that you are like sitting in this situation, which is why it's not that I'm coming on here and saying I've sold 2/3 of my bag, I've restructured everything, I've gone heavy Bitcoin because I think everything is screwed. But because you have these potentials lining up here for what are parallels to the past, and that you have, where's the RTY? The RTY at the highs. If the RTY breaks out, what's it going to do? It's going to take this guy with it, and then it's going to be all YOLO. It's going to be all really exciting. But at the same time, you have all these things present here. And I don't know how to come on here to this YouTube channel and say, hey, see all this stuff? See all this stuff? Hey, remember all that discussion that we had in the past about the DXY and how in 2021, the DXY did that double bottoming thing? Remember that whole thing? And then our whole bull run took place right there during that. And then once we hit the double bottom, right, we crashed, right? But the vast majority of the bull run all happens here during this double bottoming. The double bottom happens, right? So how do you come on here and then you say, okay, I have decided that anything I have said in the past is complete nonsense. Oh, did I say I sold 2/3? My wife just texted me and said I sold 2/3. I did not say it. I don't think I said that. Yeah, that has not happened. No, 1/3. Anyway, how do you get beyond that and then say, I'm not going to take any action? How do you get these types of things to happen in the market? Sold 5/3. I said 1/3. I knew I said 1/3. Okay. But how do you get past these things and then say you're not going to take any action? It's just very difficult. Like, I mean, like, and I could not sleep at night. I really wouldn't be able to sleep at night if the market turns over on itself from here, right? And this thing just cracks straight down from here. And then we saw all those same parallels with the altcoin market, and we saw all those other things happening in here. And then we just went through 4 years. And then we say, well, we just ignored the exact same things that happened in 2021. Like, we completely blatantly ignored them. We excused them away. We said they didn't matter. And we just said, YOLO. I don't know if I can live with myself with that. That would be real difficult to come on here onto the channel with that happening. So right now we just kind of wait. We wait to see how the Russell's going to do, if it's going to be capable of breaking through the all-time high, if it's going to take total 2 with it. And Bitcoin, I still stick with it that it's highly complex. This is some kind of crazy distribution structure happening in here. I've presented all the scenarios in there, and I've been very critical of myself because I hate it when I see TA guys do it. I hate it when they do up, down, left, right, A, B, start, select, whatever it all is. And then at the end, they can say, I'm correct. I told you. I've been pretty clear that this is high complex, right? And I don't know if this is going to end up being an ABC. I presented those ideas of what those can look like, ABCs that will go back to the 618 retracement below the 236, then back to the 702. Bulls can even argue still with it being a double bottom that it could still produce that parabola in there. Like, those arguments are still there. Or are we still just right here, right? Don't know. But for the altcoin market, Russell. Trying to wait for my wife to text me back and her say, sorry, I was wrong about that. You were. I think maybe she misheard it. We were talking about, I haven't said I've sold 2/3. I'm gonna go back and listen. All right. So that's where we're at. I think the hardest thing, oh, she's texting me. Oh no. Oh, let's go. She said she went back to re-listen and she said she was wrong. Thank you. Lord Maddie said you are right. She was wrong. Thank you, but don't milk it. Oh, well, she just did that to me in front of 3,000 people. 3.1 thousand viewers got to be an indicator. No, it's not. This is the consistent number we're always having in markets in the morning. Yes, 5/15. All right, so there you go. That's where we're at with Bitcoin. These are the things that you're sitting there looking at. Obviously, everything's dependent on the Russell. The concerns are, of course, with Q4 and narratives of Q4. Definitely getting spit in your dinner tonight. Yeah, PTW. Now I got people in the chat also saying, yeah, they're gonna go clip it. They're gonna do all this stuff. They're gonna do this, blah blah blah. You got to be careful with that. You got 1,000 trolls in the comments. And that's the thing, too. Listen here, guys. So we'll talk about this, right? So, of course, X is brutal right now. I've been through these types of things before. I've been doing crypto content for almost 6 years. Next month will be my 6-year anniversary. A lot of times anger in regards to selling, it has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. It's cognitive dissonance, and it's a different belief system, right? Not everybody looks at charts, right? They don't care, right? To them, this stuff doesn't mean anything to them, right? I know people that I talk to personally, and I'll explain these things to them. And it doesn't matter. The fundamental narrative, the story overrides everything, right? It does not matter what you see on charts. It doesn't matter what these indicators are telling you. For me, it's always about the indicators, right? For me, it's always about the charts. What am I seeing on the charts? That's going to dictate, my decisions. But for other people, that doesn't matter to them, right? There are people who fully believe in $1,000 XRP, and I'm not talking like there are people who really, really, really believe in it, guys. Like, I'm telling you, really believe in it, and that it's coming very soon. That really believe the debt's going to be paid off in the United States utilizing XRP. There's going to be gold backed by XRP backed by gold or whatever it is, and all that stuff. Like, that really does exist. That's not just people saying it on Twitter. Like, people legit believe that. Educated people, smart people do believe that. And so, there becomes a big threat when you kind of threaten people's belief systems. Or cognitive dissonance gets questioned. And so there's a defense mechanism that comes with that. So the goal, of course, is to discredit. How can we prove that this person is wrong? And that's fair, right? How can we prove that this person doesn't have a 100% track record? How can we make sure they're wrong? They're an idiot. We have to discredit them so that way we know that we're right and they're wrong. And that's okay. I mean, and whether it's okay, it's not okay, it doesn't really matter. That's just part of the game. I'm saying it's okay because I've accepted that that's how it is, and I understand people's beliefs, and nobody ever wants to hear anything to question what their belief system is, right? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to have their thoughts questioned. And especially with these markets, we're committed for years in these things, right? We're in it for so long. And, none of us, of course, reach like the epic bajillion. Like, this market's been real pathetic, right? I mean, how many all-time highs do you have? You have BNB, Bitcoin. You've touched it with like Tron. You've touched it with XRP. But there's been no like major top altcoin that has gone on to do anything super crazy, right? So that's disappointing to people. And there's no way it can't be. And I understand that. And, the only thing I can do is present you the data to say, like, what was Q4 really like? What did it look like? And, what is it, what crypto Twitter is making it out to be? No, right? Like, if anybody ever posts, hey, are you ready for Q4? It's time to rock. Well, we know Q4 was pretty sad. It was really disappointing in 2021, right? You got the new high in Bitcoin, right? But you did not get a new high in most of the market. You only got these retraces, and we do know most of the market's in these retraces right now. So it's food for thought. I'm not cheering for it. I know people want to chastise it and try to discredit to suit their own cognitive biases and suit their own desires. And believe me, my desires are to go here. If I wanted it, I would have restructured my whole portfolio. I would have sold a large part of it and gotten there to restructure and prep for a bear. And there's a chance it could. Based on what those indicators are doing in there and how they're behaving and how they're acting and how the altcoin market is acting. The bizarre things that don't make a lot of sense to me is that we would get all the way back up here again to this high again for the Russell and to not escape. And of course, like everybody, you're looking at that Bitcoin dominance and probably thinking the same thing I am. How has that thing not collapsed on itself? That would be so bizarre because it would, again, make things so different from anything that we've ever seen before. And at the exact same time, the large indicators pointing to it that it looks like it's ready to fall at the same. Come on, looks like it's ready to fall at the same time, right? So the moral of the story is some things are off. Some things are off, and we'll wait to see how things resolve themselves. If this thing busts out, then we all get to do whatever, and then the Twitter can say I'm a sideline pleb and that I sold my whole bag and that I'm crying, whatever they want to say, it doesn't matter. We'll rock and roll, but until then, we just kind of got to wait for it to make its decision. I think a big thing, a reason I've wanted to get a lot of this stuff out so quickly is, okay, so this one's going to close in a 1 day and 11 hours. So tomorrow night, this will end up closing. And this is we've done this like 5 times. And then there's a couple of tricks in here. One major trick really, but when these 5 days candles have happened, of course, this is what marked the top of the bull run in Q4 of 2021. When there was a bearish divergence that emerged. There actually wasn't a bearish divergence between these two, but there is one right in here. And then, of course, the stochastic is completely face planting on itself over here. We can see that as well. The stochastic starts face planting before it ends up going in there, and then a big liquidation comes. We could see that we start crossing, stochastic crossing, liquidation hits as well, and then we slip into these long periods in here, right? And then this one, of course, being the cross happening, stochastic falling, and then we go into the actual real bear, right? So each time these things happen, it doesn't historically work out favorably, except for one time where it really saved itself, and it had a very similar structural setup to here. But until we break from that high, that's going to be a big wait and see if we can end up getting it. And I think, there's a remote chance we do get it, right? There's a remote chance we do get the euphoria to enter into this market and the crowd to go absolutely wild. I think there's a chance. If there wasn't, I would have sold a lot more. Believe me, Lord help me, I don't want to only be at 1/3 out if this thing crashes, but I have to take a little caution in the meantime. So I want to show that to you, and I want to make sure that you're aware of all this information too. I don't want, it's hard working your way all the way back up, right? It's real hard to work your way all the way back up. We're up 270% in the altcoin market off of the actual lows from 2022. And to get all the way back up here and then to flash all this stuff, I just want to make sure it's being presented to you. If it negates itself, if that 5-day candle thing ends up negating itself, we'll talk about it right away. And I think, when will we have that? So that'll close out tomorrow. So we can address it on Friday. We'll be able to look at it on Friday and see how did it do. And then when it comes to this type of behavior in here, what we did see at this peak, so just to be mindful, is that we're really, it's nice to see some green. Don't get me wrong. It's always nice to see green. But we know that we can have these, like, it isn't a straight line down when you head down. We even saw a 702 retracement come in between these two right in here. And then it falls and does another one. And then it falls and does more, right? So keep an eye on that as we head into retracements. The retracement level over here, we're still good up to about 1.66 trillion. So about 3.5% higher than where we are right now. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like we're now getting a little bit of a bid over here on the Russell. So it was interesting for RTY. So RTY was not able to close a monthly candle above the past monthly candle or into a new all-time high, but RUT, I think RUT does by the skin of its teeth. RUT does by about 2 points. We'll see. We'll let it breathe today and see what it says about the new quarter. I guess there's a government shutdown. I've been so disconnected from news. I just don't follow news. But here we go. This was my favorite one. This was my favorite. If you weren't laughing like crazy like I was when this happened. I lost it. A tweet, Bitcoin price chart indicators flash similar to 2021 peak. Jim Cramer, buy crypto. Oh, that was, I don't know. Am I wrong? Did you find it funny? It was funny. All right. All right, I'm real lost on where I'm supposed to be here. This chart. I think we've kind of given it. We've kind of run through it. Still ranging over here on Bitcoin. Keep your eyes out for a lot of that stuff. Of course, we're watching for Russell. Keep your eyes on Russell today. If there's some clear breakout, I would think it would be like a dramatic breakout. If we're gonna get it, it'll show up pretty dramatically. So, I think we've covered all charts. Silver. This will be an interesting one too. Okay, so there we go. Silver is 38 cents away from the 1980 high. What's gonna happen, man? Right? We don't have that dynamic in our repertoire here. This will be something. So at some point today, I think last week I tweeted, we were rising so fast, even last week, that it seemed like if this parabola continues at this velocity, we'll see the 1980 all-time high this week. It looks like if we maintain this velocity, we could see it today with how soon it's gotten here. And we'll see how markets react to it. It's real unknown. I think obviously that, like, look, you guys know I own silver. I love silver. It's like my baby. I've done the coin roll hunting thing. I've done all that kind of stuff. And OGs know that, right? I've made silver videos here on the YouTube channel on how to buy silver. Least viewed videos I've ever done. But I think what we're obviously all cheering for, even as a major silver investor myself, if we could see a rejection come out of here and then a breakout come out of here. Don't know. I don't know. But if there's a time and a place for something kind of crazy to happen, we're here. Otherwise, if it breaks out and busts out, we'll just have to see. Don't know what it means, guys. This thing has been stuck under here for 45 years. We'll see what happens. We're living in it. You may, like October 1st, 2025, we may see a new all-time high for silver for the first time in 45 years. Man, crazy. All right, Fed rate cut. I'm noticing something interesting that's just kind of weird to me. I don't know. We'll see what it does. Like, there's a meeting, obviously, on October 29th. There's a 94% probability that they're going to end up doing a rate cut. The thing I've noticed is that just the yields aren't pricing it in that it's going to happen yet. You would think that they would already end up doing it. They've just kind of stayed stationary in here. For the month leading up to the last one, I guess they did it, and maybe the 3 weeks leading up to it. So we're not quite within 3 weeks. I guess we get to 3 weeks at about the 10th or the 11th or so, or the 9th, somewhere over there. So I guess we could still hover in here, but the yields aren't implying that it's going to end up happening yet, which is a little odd to me. No news except the government is shut down. Whatever. They've done this before, and I don't know how to interpret it from anything else. So as for crypto, how to use ChatGPT to find hidden gems in the crypto market. SEC clears DPIN tokens as fundamentally outside of jurisdiction. Aster weighs vesting schedules for token airdrop recipients. XRP price record quarterly close may trigger rally toward $15. Why XRP matters. 5 key factors driving its value beyond price. French central bank's deficit is great for Bitcoin. Bitcoin revives gold correlation as Bitcoin price nears 117K. Quitting Trump's top crypto job wasn't easy. Bo Hines. Strategy stacks 7,000 Bitcoin. Stablecoins cross $295 billion. September in charts. Bitcoin isn't dying. It's becoming domesticated. Okay. All right, we're hopping into the chat. Obviously, Chieftain Blackbeard came out swinging with the memberships. I'm so grateful, dude. Thank you very, very much, man. Before the stream even started, gifted 100. And Edward Lang coming in too. You guys, Edward Lang, thank you very, very much. The two of you guys, I'm always very appreciative. Thank you. It's crazy. Thank you guys very much. JDex Gaming, could you please give your opinion on Russell's weekly MACD and RSI? Yeah, so I don't think there's really anything to take from it to say there's anything structurally wrong with MACD or RSI yet. Stochastic's still holding strong. You're still up in here. You're kind of at these like historical oscillator levels that have kind of held it down for a couple of years. So we haven't really seen the oscillators get throughout here. You know, a little bit of pausing happening in here, but no breakouts and no big breakdowns, no bearish divergences. I just don't think it's given any clear signal yet, right? Not on the indicators. Not yet. Don John, new member, welcome, thank you. Gator gifted 5. Gator, thank you, man. Appreciate it, dude. Gator's been around a long time. We've done some chatting. Robert Barker, hey BCB, the Nike chart looks like it's in the process of completing a crashing structure. Can you take a look at it? Thanks. I'm sorry, guys. I do appreciate the super chat, but we have 3,300 people in here. I do run low on time. I have 20 minutes remaining. I do appreciate super chats, but when we ask to pull up each individual altcoin or individual stocks, there's just usually not enough time in the channel to be able to do each individual one. I'm so sorry. And I look so rude when I say that. I'm sorry, guys. I hate it when Powell does that. Oh my gosh, my throat. So save your money, guys. I don't want me to look like a jerk for taking your super chat, not being able to pull up your chart, and then I don't want you to be mad at me because then you're like, I gave him a super chat. I'm never going to watch him again because he's a bad guy. I just would rather you keep your money and just I have to try my hardest to keep the flow of the stream at under an hour. Julian Robbins, member for 17 months. Happy Wednesday, my dudes. Appreciate all that you do for us, BCB. Julian, thank you very much. Thank you for your support for 17 months. JP Slabs. Oh, here we go. Wife's trying to make up for her mistake. Brought a water. I'll be sleeping in the doghouse this evening, guys. I'll let you know how it is. I'll do a live stream from it. Day 1. I made it. JP Slabs. Good morning, BCB. Did we end up getting that bearish cross up on the 5-day chart that you had mentioned on your last video? No, it doesn't come in until tomorrow night. So it has enough time to save itself by tomorrow night. Ralphie, hey BCB, thank you for your work, bro. The Bitcoin parabola fractal you've been using goes crazy parabolic a few months later into 2018. Could this also reflect a massive run into Q1, Q2, 2026 post-rate cut? No, so, right. So that's a good point. No, unless it happens very quickly. My thoughts would be that this is actually going to end up, whether, again, reiterating, I do not know if it's going to be retrace or Doomtown from here, but that the eventual level is back here, right? That's where these flags are. That's the previous high. Right. That's the end result. Heading over there. Right. So I see people I see a lot of people that just post, we're going to go here and then the bull run keeps going. That's clearly not my thoughts. Right. My thoughts are, we go here, then we roll over and we come down for C leg. And then there's the potential for that. Right. And so I'm not ruling that out. We get into something like this, right? Like, if we were talking this, it'd just be time to pack up shop. It'd be like, hey, this blockchain backer thing, it was a good run. We had a good time, guys. We're done. That's it. The gig's up. But I don't think that's going to be it. I think it's going to end up looking something like that. It's going to be more of like a bigger ABC, which is a bear market, right? That is a bear market. We can define it and say it's a bull market because the broader trend is really good. It doesn't matter. It still ends up being a bear market, right? So that's what my thoughts are. Is that we're probably heading back down there. We're going to hit these bull flags at a minimum in here. I think your best case scenario, of course, right, is maybe you hit that, but I do think we probably at least hit the high and definitely into these bull flags in here. The real hard challenge right now is just picking how the top's going to look here. Ash said, screw the haters, BCB, you're still the L GOAT. Brother, thank you. And there's the Edward Langs ones too. Thank you again, Edward. And Chief Tane, man, you guys are amazing. Tony Wynn, member for 28 months. Bear Chain backer, just kidding. Hit the like button, brother. Thank you very much for all the support, man. 28 months, brother. Mod Barber, if Bitcoin is going to go down from here, or are we looking at another 2 years of bear? Very hard to predict time, right? Very hard to predict time. If it is going to go down here, you would, right? History suggests that's about how long they last, right? Right, that's how long it took from here, right? November to November. They're long and they're drawn out. That's what's interesting about this one too, is that every dip has been fear driven. If you remember that, that's a thing that we talk about on this channel a lot. The crowd is always real scared of the dip. And so we're always having to like go against the crowd. We're always having to say, you know, this is what happens. Is the crowd buying this one? They are, dude. They are. They're buying it. They're YOLOing. So we'll see. Hot Tub Brian with the super chat. Thank you, man. He says behavior is way different this time around. Back in 2021, rates were low. The government kept sending money and people were buying things like crazy. Right now, rates are still high and retail sales are very slow. Yeah. You know, and that's why, like, we look back on hindsight. Like, you look back at tops and how they are, and they're never. Everybody's always real delusional at the tops. That's what always makes a top a top. It's like we just don't ever like pay attention to anything, and so it's hard to know really where that delusion actually is at. I'm not saying we are there yet. I think there's still the remote chance for that to get out, but. Yeah, and again, that's a fundamental thing. It's hard for me to really go off the fundamental narrative stuff because that requires so much subjectivity and so much. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify that. You know what I mean? The thing I like about charts and indicators and price behavior is that we can quantify it and we can like draw real comparisons to the past and show how things have behaved before. And say these are very similar characteristic dynamics to what we have seen before on the charts, right? How it will play out, we'll find out, but those characteristics are very similar. Right, and so you're saying behavior is way different this time around. Back in 2020, and rates were lower, and the government was sending money, right? And so another thing too, like rate cuts, right? So like. And so let me pull this up. Let's do the pitch, right? Let's do the pitch. It all depends on the breakout. No. So I wrote a really long newsletter, and I essentially went like 4 days straight on this thing. I got up at 3 a.m. every day to work on it, and one time I worked on it till 12:30 at night. To build the bear case, to build the bull case, talking about the 20 coin portfolio, nothing dramatic in there. We're just talking about the 1/3 removal. Crypto flashes warning signs as it conditionally awaits on RTY. That you have both sides of it in there. And so I tried to really present everything from that bear case that you could get, right? Like to take the blinders off. Because here's the thing, like this is the truth, and here's a real reality check here for everybody, okay? And I don't know. And I don't know how to interpret it, and I have been spending the last 24 hours processing it because I'm really not sure how to interpret it, and I'm not going to pitch you the solid stuff. In the last few days, Swift came out and announced that they are going to use Ethereum, not XRP. XRP is not mentioned in there. I've asked ChatGPT. It says it's DOA. Anybody thinking that Swift is going to use XRP at this point, that's essentially dead on arrival. Not happening. They're using Ethereum. Then a day or two later, whatever, David Schwartz announces that he is stepping down as CTO of Ripple. The influencer machine is so good at what they do that, of course, the videos get put out immediately to say this is so bullish, right? Right. Right. And they're really good at making it sound that way. Like, it's very impressive. It's very impressive. But you don't know, right? You don't know what really happened there. But at the same time, so what does that really tell you? That they have to immediately come out and tell you it's super bullish, it's super good, it's super wonderful, blah, blah, blah. It's that because you could never present the other side. It's not good for social media. It's not good for engagement, you guys. Understand that. Why do you get so mad when the market crashes on you and nobody warned you? Because you incentivize that behavior. So I've told you, I'll walk into the fire. I'll do whatever. I really don't give an F. This is what it is. This is the data and what it suggests. And hopefully it pans out okay, right? Hopefully the Russell busts out and does this stuff. But I've built the whole case for both of them. It's not a perfect case, right? Like if you're going to go ahead and say that this is like 2021, there's a dramatic amount of similarities to what it was like at the peak of 2021. And I'm not talking April and May. We're talking November. There's a lot of similarities that are happening here. But there's not 100%. There's not 100% of the same similarities. There are some differences in here. And so I'm trying to present those at the same time to you on these charts, talking about Bitcoin dominance, blah, blah, blah. Ethereum, come on, man, look at this thing. Does this thing look like something that you do all of this and then it just falls apart and dies? It doesn't look like it to me. It doesn't look like it to me. But it's voodoo social media to in any way ever show you that. And what's not going to happen to me is that we're not going to have the potential for something like that showing up, and I didn't show it to you. Okay, so take it for what it is, right? Hopefully it doesn't work that way. I definitely have not fully positioned myself, right? So don't think that it's wrong. Maybe you should. Maybe people should, right? Again, I never tell you when to buy. I never tell you when to sell. But this behavior told you should in 2022 or in 2021. It told you it was time to position for it. I haven't positioned for it. I've taken some risk management, but haven't fully positioned for a bear because I'm betting that we're going to get a pop out of here. But there's things that point the other way at the same time. And so I'm just going to show it to you because the cold, hard reality is Twitter ain't going to give it to you. Simple as that. You guys do not incentivize this type of behavior to be shown to you on Twitter. You incentivize nonsense. And that's not everybody. I'm just characterizing Twitter as a whole. I can go, if I went onto Twitter right now and I post these things, these charts don't get likes, right? The showing this doesn't get likes. If I simply point arrow up to air, let's move this, right? Instead of like, instead of this being like, hey, look at this bearish divergence that has happened between these two. Let's cut that out. Let's move this arrow right here. And then let's tweet that. Boom! Likes galore. Likes through the roof, right? So it's just the way social media is, right? I don't blame the social media, right? So to know that it's because we all want to win. We all want to make money. We all want to long. We're going to buy the market. It's easy. Market go up. We all make money. Cool. If it goes down, there's nothing fun about that. So, whatevs. All right. Back to the chat. So what I just did is the whole stream crashed on me, and I didn't tell you, and I was able to navigate that with some rambling. Okay, Luke says, I have a theory. The dominance chart you show, you see the red MACD since August and September, but the Bitcoin DOM USDT perpetuals only show now the 1st October MACD red. I think it's a sign. I'll have to dig through that on my off time, off the channel. Thank you, Luke. The euphoria mainstream media we had in Switzerland via posters, TV commercials with marketing Bitcoin and Bitpanda exchange all over the place happened in November of 2024. I thought that was strange. Fake top, maybe like 2021. Right. So like what we're talking about over here. Right. Right. Everybody says Q4 is great. If you think, revisit Q4 of 2021, right? That's where all the comparisons come from, right? No. Ignore that one. Go back to the 2017 one, right? Well, how about we not? How about we go look at the last one, right? And so that just kind of tells you, right? H bar was obviously one of the ones that was able to set the new high, but 90% of the market did not. Food for thought. Food for thought. Whatever. Cryptkeeper, you're definitely getting spit in your dinner now. Yeah, I'm screwed. My wife is going to be mad. Martin Kelly. Hey, BCB, I've been quiet while raising my little one. Hey, he's 6 months already, and we're waiting for this market. Thanks for everything. It's amazing. So 6 months is getting good. You're starting to get some smiles and stuff like that, probably. Those little tiny babies, man, you just can't do anything with them. They need their mom. You're a waste. Mom just wants you to help change diapers and stuff like that. But get triggered. Thank you very much. Crypto Insight's been respectful and loves you. Thank you. Sunny Trin, to think we are all living in no sleep moment. Yeah. Thank you very much. Michael Hinkle, hey BSB, just want to say thank you for everything you do. I've been following you since 2020. What are your thoughts on using Totally? I don't know. They're new, right? They just got released like a month ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think about them. Right, so Total 2 ES is going to remove stablecoins, right? So it's Total 2 excluding stablecoins, Total 3 excluding stablecoins. You can play with them. I don't know. Human, but thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. It's very generous, and I appreciate the kind words. Obviously, the Twitter universe is trying to destroy me, so thank you. Human. Thoughts of gold breaking down. Don't know if you talked about gold. Yeah, gold just keeps on ripping. Where's silver? Hold on. I think the big story is just silver. Silver going to hit the thing today. Gold just won't stop. If there's a confluence moment of gold, you would think it's going to be somewhere around here. That these two are going to behave in similar form here. If not, may God help us all. I mean, I own silver, so I'm all right with it, but like, what does it mean? What does it mean? I mean, what does it mean if silver breaks out of a 45-year high? From before I was born. All right. XR Patron, new member, welcome. Thank you very much. JJ, hey, thanks, man. You should overlay July 16th on global liquidity and July 16th on Bitcoin. That's when the change in the time really began. Then check July 16th in the U.S. Treasury general account. No dollars equals unemployment rate equals rate cut. I'll have to look at that on another time. That sounds like a lot of overlaying. I don't know. Thank you. I appreciate it, JJ. It's generous, man. XR Patron, we gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You guys are always so kind when y'all gift those. Mr. Nobody. F gold. Yeah. Christine Trending says, could you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave count on hold? I don't know what hold is. Thank you, though. Basim El Kadri, if S&P keep going up, wouldn't Bitcoin go with it? And when trigger you selling the remaining 2/3? Yeah. I have to wait for something confluence-wise to show up for the other. And first of all, I'm not going to ever sell the remaining 2/3. Let's be really clear with that. So you do understand that there will never be, okay, I can't say there will never be, but my absolute intentions is that there's not going to end up being a point where I'm not exposed to this market. Even the day that I think the legitimate top of this market is actually in, I'm not going to be selling 100%. Just because you have to understand, even I know that I don't have a 100% track record. I know that. So the thing is, I can take into account for that, right? Hey, there's the statistical probability that I'm actually totally wrong. And for that, I have to still hold some in case I'm totally wrong. So it'll never get to the remaining 2/3 ever being sold. It's not to say that it won't ever, but I just don't imagine that today on October 1st. But I could imagine it getting to 70, 75% of it being sold. But I would have to see something definitive to tell me one way or the other. I'd have to see something where I'm just like clear as day. I totally think we're having it. And when it does, I'll present it, right? So right now there's still like these hopes and there's these things, but if Russell makes some strong rejection and then more of these assets look like they're breaking down, and again, it mirrors the same stuff of what we saw back in 2021, where it looks like we're going to crash and crumble. All right, I got to go ahead and cut another third, and then we'll just sit there, we'll tighten things up, and damn, that sucked. Otherwise, upon a breakout, I think what my intention is that if we get this breakout in here for the Russell, and if we get this breakout happening in here for total 2, that I think we will see what we've talked about in the past, how there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves endings. Unsure of what that will look like for Bitcoin, but that we would see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves of euphoria in the crypto market. And probably at that point of 5 waves of euphoria upon a breakout, that's where I'd do it. And then at the same time, I'd be buying the breakout. I'd be buying the breakout and then selling 5th wave. But to also remember, I have 2/3 exposure at this time, right? 1/3 taken pretty much where we're at right now on the 24th. And then that make re-entries on some of these right here upon the clean of the breakout of the high. And then with a confirmed break of the Russell at the exact same time. And then it would be waiting for 5 waves of euphoria. The crowd goes euphoric. That blockchain backer doesn't know anything. It'll be just like 2024, right? When we went back to the 702 retracement for others. Nobody believed that was going to be the top. Clown him. There's no way it'll be it. It'll be like a repeat, guys. It'll be like a repeat. And then that would be it, right? So, okay. Where are we at? Oh, we're over time. I got to wrap it up. Okay. Trent, Mick? All right, Trent Mick. I appreciate all your input. It's hard to say things people don't want to hear. I always consider things you say. You saved me from dumping my bag a few times this year. Well, all I'm trying to do is present the data, right? And so that's the thing that is hard for people to wrap their head around, too, is that we go into this stuff. I don't provide you hopium for the sake of providing you hopium. I provide you context to say that it can recover due to context, right? Now, if I was to point straight arrows up from if I was to point straight arrows up from here and say we're going to a big bull run, I don't have the context for you to say that. That's the problem I have coming on here. If I'm supposed to do that, if I'm supposed to stick to the narrative and say we're going to $150,000, $200,000, I just don't have the context to present that to you with. Right? What you'll see is everybody pointing to the bottom of 2017 September, which is this thing. Right? That's this thing. But we haven't done that. Right? So this is what people are pointing to. They're saying, look, this is how September of 2017 ended. Then we go roaring. Well, the problem is we haven't done that. We haven't done that. That equivalent is that. You know what I'm saying? So, not that I'm cheering against it, right? The 702 retracement is going to be here at 19.3 thousand. That's going to be a big watch there for the market. Lord Matty says, if it does crash, how low might XRP go? If we enter into a true bear market, right? If you were going to enter into a true year-long bear market, XRP could go as low as $1. Adrian, Russell 2000, surprising miracle. It's over, folks. Yeah, it needs a surprising miracle. Yeah, it's over, folks. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, Vane. Oh, no, wait. Dallas Burke, thank you very much. Very generous. Said Fun Wednesday fact. Koi fish travel in groups of 4. If attacked, koi A, B, and C will scatter, leaving the decoy. Take care, my friend. All right. I'm sure she liked it. I honestly thought we were going to do a hypotenuse joke here with some type of A squared plus B squared equals the C squared. Nope. We're doing kois. All right. Thank you. Vain Grooming and Wellness. Thank you for doing what is right, not what is easy. Thank you for being proud of being sober. It's the real level up. You make me laugh. I will have 6 years in a few weeks. Frog time. Dude, 6 years. For sure.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, dudes.
All right. There you go. Thank you so much. All right, Arm Day. Thought on Zcash just popping off. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, I'll take it. It's getting into retracements, though. Zcash, a nightmare of 2022. But on social media fire, I think I saw a Zcash tweet out there today with 2,000 likes. I'm like, oh, man. Akash Singh says Bitcoin to 100K, then 120K creates parabola and Bitcoin de-dump. You know, my bet is when we get to the end of this whole thing, if this isn't just ABC, right? So I've presented this in multiple videos and live streams. If this isn't just the classic, here you go, right? That this, and then I gotta go, guys. If this right here, okay, off the lows, perfect nail of the 618 retrace, back below the 236, and then back up to the C leg of the 702 Fibonacci retracement, right? Get all this off the screen. Right? If it's not this, it's some type of complex distribution that we just keep dealing with. All this kind of chaos, right? Big ups, big downs, big ups, big downs, ups, downs. It's been very sloppy. We'll see. So this is probably our mindful zone. I mean, it hasn't taken it out, but of course, like the big watch out there is that one. All right, I gotta go. PH team, can we do a throwback look at the Fed funds rate versus the market performance? You pointed out before how markets perform shortly after cuts versus otherwise. Very fast, and I gotta run. Yeah, got a monthly time frame. There you go. Crash, cutting. We will overlay. Okay, there you go. Here's your cutting cycle, right? People always say, oh, Fed cuts are bullish. No, there hasn't been that case where it's bullish. It led to the C19 crash. It led to the great financial crisis, and it led to into 2000 dot-com bubble pop. It's not that they necessarily let it, but it's that there was underlying weakness starting to show up in the markets, and the actual cutting cycle itself was bearish for markets. This is bearish for markets, right? Make it real tight here. There you go. Now, once we got to zero, right? Were things better and did the market turn up? Yep, right? Once we got to zero, did the market turn up? Yes, right? But the process of getting to zero, getting to those low rates, was not bullish for markets. Okay? That's data, not opinions, data. Your influencers are going to tell you the total different thing. They're going to tell you that the cuts are bullish, but that's not what happened. Okay? It was always the opposite. Do I know for certainty what will happen? No, but I do know that's a lie to say the cuts are bullish. They're not. Once we got to zero, it became bullish, so it was preceded by a crash. Okay? So, all right, there we go. That's where we're at, guys. I hope I got everybody's chats. I appreciate you all coming out here. I appreciate your support. The world's on fire around me right now. That's what it is, but I feel good about it. I feel real good, real good. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. Check out the newsletter over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. A lot of work put into it. A 52-minute audio recording. I think that maybe the second longest one I've done, maybe third longest one that I've done. And I think I've done about 50 of these things. I don't even know. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. We'll check in with you soon. And I think my next video is probably going to be harping a lot more on this discussion right here on Q4. So if I didn't really resonate with you, explaining that to you very thoroughly in here, I think that's my video idea for my next, my topic idea for my next video. So I'll try to do a better job explaining it in the next one. Otherwise, we wait for the Russell to break out. We've got 2437. It's looking okay, but we still don't have the break happening in there. And we look for total 2 to break out at the same time. We'll keep our eyes peeled on it. Check out the newsletter. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. Like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.